This is Radio Lab.
Radio Lab. Hey, this is Elena.
And I'm Maggie. Today's topic is technology and how it has made us more or less social.
Can technology fulfill the basic human needs?
And do you think that it'll get to the point that human interaction is not necessary?
Who knows? This is our world.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you asked the question, will it be possible? Yes, I do think it will be possible. Will it be advisable? No, I don't think so. I think that we're still using about a tenth of what we could use technology for. I think we're in the very beginning stages of trying to understand what we can use it for and how we can use it.
I feel that technology plays a major part in our lives, and I guess it makes us more social, but we should still meet our friends outside of the cyber world.
Technology allows us to connect to more people, a larger number of people, over a wider geographical area. I think it has increased the number of connections that we have.
Definitely, you probably deal with more people now.
Yeah.
Deal with, meaning whether email, text, whatever, right? So you deal with them, but in terms of the quality of the contact, that becomes suspect.
Well, I think there are numerous benefits of technology psychologically, but some of those benefits have a flip side. I think that any technology that takes you further away from regular human contact, that means touch, line of sight, being able to actually hear the words as they're being formed, somehow diminishes the status of being human. As much as it can bring people in contact over long distances, it somehow creates long distances out of close contact.
You're always on your phone, you're seeing if it's in your pocket, you're constantly trying to find it, and you always want it near you, because, I don't know, you just want to text people, or you don't want anyone else seeing it.
Hey Elena, isn't it kind of hard to know how far we could take it with technology until it becomes too far?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's becoming really difficult because now we've taken it to 3D printers, so who knows what we'll take it to next.
True. Have you heard of the movie Her?
I have, but it's somewhat of a weird concept.
Yeah, I agree.
Creepy. I haven't heard of the movie Her.
But that does not surprise me, because it's usually the way the scenario goes. Either art is imitating life, or life is imitating art.
It's like, ugh.
I think we already have been overrun by technology to some extent.
Technology and our media-driven society, the fact that our societies are becoming more and more media-infused and media-driven, is linked with the technology.
More social in general, less social in person, like face to face and written letters.
I second Caleb.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think it's really cool that we're doing 3D printers these days, because making something out of, just drawing like that is so cool. Because I don't really want a gun.
What kind of technology do you own?
I own a phone, an iPhone, a laptop, a Kindle, Beats.
But when I take a break, usually now it's checking my phone in some capacity, as if opposed to maybe getting up and just walking around. Now if I left my phone at home, I realize that it's not there, and I'm stressed the rest of the day because I know I don't have my phone. I think that technology is kind of scary in some ways, and I feel like the technological age is getting a little too advanced for our own good.
I know that I own a lot of technology myself. It seems like a necessary part in everyday life.
I totally agree.
I knew that when I lost my phone last week, I was so disconnected. I felt like there was something important missing. I know it's silly, but it's true. I felt kind of misplaced without it.
I can see what you mean.
In some ways, we could blame our culture for putting a big reliance on technology.
So, obviously everyone uses technology at one point or another.
Yeah, but how much of your time is actually devoted to technology? Are you an internet browser?
Yeah, I guess you could say I am.
Things very little. Like clothes or something like that, very little. How often do I go on to socially browse at things? Maybe 5% of my internet use.
Maybe once or twice a day.
Usually I'm not I have to be looking for something somewhat specific, because I just don't, I don't know, not usually.
That there is good and bad when referring to technology. But can we ever imagine a time when there was none?
My wife is on Facebook and has friended both of her children, of course. And what's interesting is that there's a level of sharing that even though you can ascribe certain things to certain folks, they're in enough circles with each other that that they have become very close and sharing a lot of things that they might not have.
I can see how technology can do that.
With regard to Facebook, you may have asked the wrong person. I don't want to be on Facebook, Tastebook, Lacebook, Wastebook. I don't want to be on any of that, okay? I think, once again, it creates false connections. Can I use your clothing? Let's meet and hang out. No, let's not meet and hang out. I don't know you. But we're Facebook friends. Once again, I think that's perception. It's cognitive illusion, and in psychology, so many errors are based upon cognitive illusion.
I used to have over 1,000 friends, and then I realized that, okay, I don't even talk to half these people. So I started deleting a bunch of them because they were meaningless to me. So I only keep the ones who are, who I talk to or who I can talk to, who I can reach.
At your age, you have this feeling of invulnerability. You guys are immortal, and nothing can really hurt you. There are evil people out there that troll these devices.
Yeah, I've heard stories of when that's happened online.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of texting, because that hey, someone is texting you, that's ubiquitous and it's everywhere and it's all the time.
Like texting and things, and if you're having like a disagreement with someone, you don't know how their tone of voice is coming across over a text message, so you can interpret things many ways.
And then there are airplanes.
What about them?
I know that when I'm on a plane, I watch movies or read a book. So I guess I'm not so social when I'm cramped on a flying tin box. What about you guys?
I haven't flown since I've had a smartphone, which is crazy. Yeah. So would I play Candy Crush? Probably.
I fly JetBlue because I have my own screen, and that makes the flight go a lot faster.
On the plane, I talk to people, and then also I watch movies. Some planes also have Wi-Fi these days, so I don't know. I guess technology can be anywhere now.
One of the best Christmas presents my wife ever bought me were sound deadening headphones. So when I get on a plane, I put those puppies on, and I can just really be alone. When I travel, I have 2 books that I have a backpack that I take on a plane, and I really only take it on planes. So I choose one of those 2 books, and I only read them when I travel.
And then there are cab drivers. I know that I don't normally talk to the cab drivers, partly because they're older. But for me, it's always more interesting to see what's happening on my phone. Do any of you guys talk to them?
Every time.
I typically talk to the cab driver.
No, I typically have conversations with cab drivers. I like talking to cab drivers. So I do. I love talking to cab drivers because I find them really interesting people. Dropped phone. So if they will talk, I love talking to cabbies.
So I'm assuming some of you guys have children.
I think they would definitely be junkies. I think if I let them. I think it's very addictive.
So do you think technology has formed a gap or a bridge between you and your kids?
Somewhat of a gap, because they can communicate with their friends a lot easier. So they tend to be on social media more than interacting with their parents.
And you, Vicky?
Bridge, because with Facebook, I know what they're doing. And they live far away. So I get to have a sense of their everyday lives without intruding into their lives myself.
A bridge.
Okay.
Why?
My daughter's in graduate school in California, and yet it feels as though she's much closer.
So clearly we've seen that technology has a major part in our lives. It went from being the escape of the daily routine to being the daily routine. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess you could say that sometimes we're exercising our emotions, and I'm worried we're going to hit that point at one day.
What do you mean by that?
Well, once again, it's like the movie Her. At some point, I hope we don't do this, but some people could begin falling in love with their operating machines just because they're so addicted to their technology.
Yeah, it's kind of like the human basic needs. When those are fulfilled, you become kind of in love or addicted to something. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I think it's supposed to be 4 out of 6 that are supposed to be fulfilled. If those 4 are fulfilled, then most likely you'll become addicted.
You hear some crazy stories about this kind of thing.
Yeah, like what story?
Well, I remember one time I was told that this man completely fell in love with his operating system. Though he was at the table with his family, he didn't even listen to them or pay any attention to them. They got up and he didn't realize for a half hour.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, if my family got up and left, I think I would have noticed.
Amongst teens, 78% have cell phones. 47% of those are smartphones.
Nowadays, so many people own either a smartphone and a tablet.
But it doesn't even come down to just that. In 2012, it was reported that 79% of adults go online daily.
And a year later, it has increased by 6%.
It was reported that 61% of people do online shopping. Doesn't that already diminish human contact?
I believe it does. It's also a quicker way, though, so I can see why someone do that. Especially because technology is mostly used between 18 and 32-year-olds. They feel like they have to get a lot of things done. I mean, come on, you're still young. You gotta go out and see your friends.
I know, it's almost becoming a problem, I think.
This can kind of relate to The Stranger by Albert Camus and one of his characters named Marceau.
Marceau is a guy who seems to go through life just exercising his emotions. He doesn't really feel much or express himself.
Do you think that if he was around in the 21st century, he would be the kind of man who would fall in love with his operating system?
I think he would. It's just another reason for him to exclude himself from the world around him.
Throughout the people we interviewed, it seemed pretty clear that although technology was advancing, maybe too quickly in some cases, they didn't think that we'd get to the point of the movie Her.
Just because we think that doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah, I know. We can't have a definite answer and only time will tell. But as people, I think we will never get to that point.
As in the human race?
Yes, we would check ourselves and bring ourselves back to the real world.
I agree. Even though we use technology a lot, there are so many things that it can't do for us. Well, at least for me. Even though I know that there will be some of us who will get there to that point, the grand majority of us would not hit there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hopefully we will not let technology control us in the future.
This has been Radio Lab with Maggie and Elena. Thanks for listening.